It was a day of high drama in the George Zimmerman trial, closing arguments.